Now that you have a guide and a better understanding of what to look for in winning products and how to identify them, now it's time to talk about what tools you can use. And if you don't know what I'm talking about and what guide are you referring to, Darwin, I highly suggest that you watch the previous video as I give you a checklist of things to look for in identifying these products. And now it's time to talk about the tools and the sources that are going to be available to you to find these products. If you're new around here, I am Darwin, the founder of Inspire Dropshipping. And today, there is going to be a lot of value provided to you, and we're going to break these product research tools into two categories: free and paid. Sure, you want free tools, who doesn't? So if that's something that interests you, stick around and let's get straight into it. We're going to start off with talking about the free tools. And one of the most unutilized tools that you have, and you may have not realized that you have, it's your actual Facebook newsfeed. Okay. Because kind of put it to you like this, and I tell a lot of my students this, if not all of my students, that, Facebook is viewed upon as a social media platform, right? People naturally think that it's a platform for social media. I tend to think that it's a platform for marketers like you and I, for people to be able to sell their products, via ads, because in the end, that is how Facebook makes money. So if we are to agree that Facebook is quote unquote, yes, a social media platform, but from the eyes of a marketer, it is pretty much a platform for you and I to be able to advertise our products, then why not utilize these products to be able to find out what is something that is selling? Now, the easiest way to do this, it's literally browsing through your newsfeed. Okay. Anytime that you're browsing, when you see something that says sponsored, you automatically know that that is an advertisement, right? That is someone paying to have this video occupy a certain amount of real estate within your phone or within your desktop, right? Someone is paying to have this on here. Okay. And it could be for a lot of different reasons. Obviously, this seems to be conversion bot websites. I have a natural interest in websites, bots, and anything e-commerce related. So Facebook is pretty much telling this person, hey, this individual does have an inclination, and they're putting this ad in front of me, right? So literally, it's just browsing through your feed, and that's pretty funny. Browsing through your feed and seeing what are products that you have an interest in, right? And again, this could be a little bit time consuming, right? But there is a quick way to kind of change, the algorithm per se, and for you to be able to get more ads. So what you need to know is that Facebook, it's a huge algorithm, right? That has all of these data points on you, and everybody else that uses the platform as to what you're interested in, what you're browsing, what you're not, pages that you're following, et cetera, right? So what you want to be able to do is to manipulate the algorithm, because if you're someone that's a marketer, right, and sells product and is constantly on the lookout for products to sell, what you really want is more ads to be shown to you. Now, a quick, hack that I think most people know, and if you don't know, you're gonna find this pretty cool, is literally to browse around, right? And when you see stores that are e-commerce stores, and what we would consider drop shipping stores, which I can immediately look at this and tell you that this is a drop shipping store, right? Is to number one, you can like the page, right? You can actually go to their website, you can browse through it, you can add to cart, okay? You can check out, and you can actually even make a purchase. Now, full disclosure here, you want to make sure that if you do make a purchase, you actually put fake order, right? You don't want one of these stores to actually ship out the items. Now, I know that's a little bit of a bummer for individuals that are within the e-commerce space, because they'll get notified that they have a sale, but in reality, it's just you manipulating the algorithm. Now, the purpose of that is because at that particular point, Facebook is going to, consider you as a shopper, right? They're going to consider you as someone that has an interest in drop shipping ads. So naturally, what they're going to do is just continuously show you more of these ads, right? So you can definitely follow this hack and just look at different stores and just, this is another one. Again, like it, add to cart, all that good stuff, right? And you are going to be pretty much bombarded with advertisements on your feed. Okay. Now, to be able to touch on, that first line item of the checklist that we talked about, which is, proof of concept, market demand. One of the ways that you can verify that, and there are quite a few, is number one, when you see an ad and you see a lot of engagement, engagement typically translates to people, not typically, but it translates to people spending money to get this engagement. 330 comments is quite a significant amount of comments, right? It's nothing amazing or crazy. We've seen a lot higher, but it gives you an inclination that this obviously product is generating sales for this advertiser. Because if not, he wouldn't continue to run ads on a product. Okay, who's going to run ads when you're not getting results, right? So one of the ways that you can verify if a product has some level of market demand is by the total engagement of a product, right? You can also do Google Trends, which is something that you see here, and this is pretty simple. Just selecting the actual country that you live in and look for an item that you are interested in, and let's see. Here it will tell you neck massager, right? And you can pretty much see the total traction that it has. You obviously, this is kind of looking like, you want to be able to see something on the uprise, right? These are very inconsistent results. So there's a lot of Google searches for this particular item, right? This is over the past 12 months. You can go 5 years, and then you're going to see this looks like more like Bitcoin if you're in the stock market. A lot of ups and a lot of downs, right? So this is a one quick way that you can validate your product. Again, if somebody is advertising items, you can definitely do so. You can do it by going on Lazada or Shopee, which I have here, and literally just looking at the total number of reviews of an item. Like as you see, this one has a lot of reviews. A lot of reviews means obviously a lot of purchases. This is another one, 157. Not everybody that purchases makes a review. Sure, you can agree to that. I've never made a review, I think, from all the purchases that I've ever made. So if it has 157, if it has 300 purchases, you can pretty much say that it has thousands of purchases, right? And just a few hundred actually created a review. So this can kind of give you proof of concept, proof of sales. Your item is being sold. So an advertiser selling it, or somebody on Lazada or Shopee selling hundreds of these items, that lets you know that obviously people are buying it or going on Google Trends to be able to verify the search value for that particular item or that particular market, right? So again, this is a free tool that you can use. It's your newsfeed. If you're on a low budget, go for browsing your newsfeed. Now, I do have some plugins that I consider very, very useful within this product research tool, which is still kind of within the obviously newsfeed aspect of it. But what it does is that these plugins, pretty much what they do is convert your whole newsfeed into advertisements. Okay, so I'm going to kind of list down on the screen what some of these are going to be, right? Some of the plugins that I recommend. One of them is going to be this one. It's called My Ad Finder. So it's as simply as opening up your Google Chrome store and then going to My Ad Finder. Okay, once you go to My Ad Finder, simply downloading or adding this extension. Okay, once you get to your Chrome Web Store, you're pretty much just going to search for My Ad Finder. I'm just going to hit the big blue button here that says Add. Mine is already added, so obviously that's why you don't see it here. Once that has been added to your Chrome extension, it's going to be pretty easy. You're going to be able to see it right here at the top. If not, just click the extensions button right here, the extensions icon, I should say, and you'll be able to see it. So once that happens, it's just clicking on this and literally just turning it on. Okay. Once you turn this on, you are going to start to see that all of your posts are going to be sponsored. Okay. So in essence, what it does, it just converts the entirety of your feed into an advertising feed. You get to see all of the ads that are currently active, and you can just go on and look at every single advertiser, right? And which is a very, very cool tool for you to have. Okay, this is obviously 100% free. There's nothing that you need to pay to be able to use it, and it literally just converts your whole feed into ads. Okay, and it's really up to you at this point to see a product, right? Note it down if you like, and then validate it through the five criteria list that we talked about. And if it passes that, then at that point you're determining if you are willing to push forward and start selling this product. So very, very cool tool. Another one that I would recommend is called Turbo Ad Finder, if I'm not mistaken. Turbo Ad Finder. And again, as you can see, I already have this as my Chrome extension, and I have quite a few here. I have Ad Finder for Newsfeed. I have Turbo Ad Finder. I have a few. Sometimes they do get a little glitchy, so I like to have a few if necessary, so I can play around with it. And honestly, this was a very, very useful tool when I first started. That again is absolutely free. So these are some cool Chrome extensions that you can use. Another quick little tip that I can give you, okay, is another Chrome extension that I like to use. That it's more for spying on certain stores, which can assist in your product research. So let's say that you see a certain store, right? Let's kind of look at this one, Shop Street Fill, and you look at this bag, and you may want to see what other products is this store selling. Well, there is a few different ways to do it. You can actually go to the actual store itself and go to what comes up as page transparency. Okay, when you go to page transparency, you're going to be able to see when this page was created. Gives you a lot of details, and you can go to my ad library and you will see all of the products that this store is running. Okay, you see the video, so on and so forth. So you can see pretty much a lot of the inside of this store. Now, if you want to go to the actual website, because you may want to know, like, what's this store top winning products. Seems like they have quite a few advertisements out, so they are making money. Okay, their store looks pretty nice, right? I think it looks nice. They're using the booster theme. So what you can do is go to your Chrome store, right, and just download this tool. Once you download it to your Google Chrome store, you're pretty much are going to be able to go to whatever website you are, quote unquote, spying on, and you'll see the icon be reflecting at the top. If not, again, you can just click your extensions and you're going to find it here. But you're going to click the little icon, okay? And I will have to log in. Okay, and once you log in, pretty much what this tool is going to give you access to, which I find pretty awesome, to be honest with you. It gives you the ability to be able to know, the top winning products for this store. So if I go to site and if I want to go to best selling, what I can see is that the products that this store has sold the most is this 5-piece LED garden light, right? And you can pretty much use this as a product research, to be able to identify top winning products for certain stores, right? So use it at your own discretion. There's a lot of other things. You can see what type of apps they're using. They're using loops. Doesn't work 100%. I'm sure they have other apps installed, but it does give you a general idea. This is also free, so use it. If you feel that it provides value to you. So that's definitely one, which is your newsfeed, and downloading or installing those plugins are going to be very, very helpful in turning your feed into an advertising platform where all you see is ads. Okay. The next one is going to be pretty straightforward, and it's literally just Lazada and Shopee. browsing through Lazada and Shopee to see what are products that are selling. As I mentioned, you can pretty much see the reviews. It'll give you an understanding of how many items are being sold. I would always filter with products in the Philippines. That just makes it more accessible, so you don't have to wait the long shipping times for the product to be shipped from China to you. But that is going to be another tool that I highly, highly recommend that you get familiar with, and being able to navigate and find winning products. A quick tip that I would give you is, if you're not using our fulfillment center, which, you know, you're going to have obviously have within our app all of the products that we have listed on there. But if there is also a button that you can request a certain product. So if you're doing a product research, just because it's not in our app doesn't mean that you can't sell it. You can pretty much send a request for that product. It will go through an approval process. And if that product is passes the criteria that we feel comfortable with, we would be obviously more than happy to purchase that item, hold it in our warehouse, and make it readily available for you to start selling it. So again, just because it's not on our platform doesn't mean that you can't sell it, or that you can't utilize these platforms to be able to find other items that you want to sell. But if you're doing self fulfillment, then simply sending a message to the supplier, asking them, letting them know that you're an online seller is very important. That way they don't think that you're just another Joe Schmo trying to buy one or two items. Tell them that you push massive volume and that you're interested in working with them and selling their products. You're looking to buy in bulk, right? And what is the best price for this item if you buy 200 units? And the reason why I do that is because I want to see what is the bare minimum that they're willing to accept. So they're going to give you a price based on those 200 units. Okay. Then you are going to ask them if they accept offline transactions, which most suppliers accept offline transactions. And if they don't, then it is your job to convince them, right? Let them know you're going to send them the money first. That's how it works. If you don't feel comfortable with that, then you're not going to get products sent to you by suppliers. You are going to have to send them the money. Once they agree to this, right, you obviously are not going to buy 200 items. What you're going to do is let them know that, listen, this is just for quality control purposes. I want to order a few of these items. And then if they are good quality, then I will buy the others in bulk. All right. So what it does, it brings down the price, and most people or most suppliers are going to still sell you those 20 pieces for that price of in bulk that you negotiated with, or that they told you about, right? Some are going to tell you, no, you have to pay more, which you just, it's all about negotiating at that point. Trust me, they are willing to negotiate, most especially because if you're doing an offline transaction, they save that 2% that Lazada is going to take out because they're using it on the platform. So there is a savings that they also gain, right? So Lazada and Shopee, definitely very useful tools that can be used. And another one that I will tell you is called the Dropship Center. Many people don't use this, or many people think that AliExpress is only if you're selling internationally, which isn't true. There's most of the products, right, that you see on AliExpress are generally already on Lazada and Shopee. So using this tool will kind of allow you to find items, and there's a bunch of different settings that you can play around with to figure out what are the hottest items, right? You can do product analysis. You can kind of see how many items, and how many items a product is selling on a daily basis. It gives you a lot of different options for you to be able to toggle around with, and give you a general idea as well if a product is doing well. All you really got to do is, if you find that product, see if there is a local supplier in the Philippines that has it. If they have it, great, right? Because this does gives you option to filter by orders, by daily orders. It gives you a bunch of different different options for you to be able to play with. I'm not going to dive too deep into it because I'll spend 20 minutes explaining you the Dropship Center, but simply just Google Dropship Center. It'll have you create an account. It's not something that you can find just by opening up AliExpress. You are going to have to create a Dropship Center account. Pretty easy. YouTube it. It's readily it's pretty easy and readily available for everyone. There's no real criteria for you not to be able to open it, but definitely a good tool that I would recommend that you use to be able to then validate that product, right, and verify if it's actually in the Philippines. So these are the free tools that till this day I still use to be able to find items to be able to sell. So this is going to be the Dropship Center, and again, very useful. Just use it to your discretion if you do find it useful, and then verify them and check them on Lazada or Shopee. Okay, so these are the free tools that I use. Now we're going to talk about the paid tool. And honestly, I use two paid tools, but there is only one that I use 99.99% of the time, and that tool being called Spy. I mean, I've tested a ton of different, paid softwares from Ecom Hunt to Niche Scraper to Source, Sales Source. I mean, you name them, I've tested it just to see which one, is the most effective. And honestly, Spy has been the most effective tool. It is paid. It's about $19. It's about $20, 19.99 monthly. But the time and effort that it's going to save you, it's worth every single dollar in my case, or in this case, every single peso, right? So you can pretty much say it's about 1,000 pesos on a monthly basis. And what this tool allows you to do is pretty much come here. There's obviously tutorials and things you can kind of browse around with, but it allows you to find winning items. It has the engagement. You can obviously see the video on that product. You can download the video on that product. You can go to the website for that product. You can go to the Facebook page of that product. Let me go back here, and you can kind of see the copywriting that they have on this particular product. It allows you a lot of different functionalities that I think are amazing. Okay, one of my favorite, obviously, is just being able to download the video if I want it, right, and then kind of chopping it up if necessary, or finding a product that has multiple videos and then just making mine from all of these videos. Granted, it doesn't have a watermark because then at that point the video becomes useless. The benefit is that in the US, most online stores actually don't put a watermark. I know in the Philippines that's very common, so people don't take your video, but it gives you a bunch of different filters that you can search the word. You can kind of filter if you want an image, video, album, carousel, multi, last seen date. You can go to country if you want just the Philippines. I mean, the options are endless: domain, platform, Shopify, WooCommerce, Magneto, like just anything you can think of. So you can filter based on engagement, right? Because as I mentioned, something that has high engagement means that someone is spending a lot of money to be able to get that engagement. So it serves as proof of concept, right? And market demands from that checklist that we talked about. So very, very useful tool. Again, it's really up to you to whatever you feel comfortable, whether it be Spy, Ecom Hunt, Niche Scraper, whatever the case is. There's another similar one to this that I use. It's called Drop Point, which is a $5 a month. It's a lot more affordable, but it just doesn't have that UAI that I like, the user interface and some of the functionalities that this has. So I find this to be a lot more worth it for the day-to-day use in finding products. So, I'll let you kind of navigate it at your own time. Pretty self-explanatory for the most part, but it's very, very useful. For full disclosure, I am an affiliate of this program. So if you are interested in receiving, I believe it's about a 20% off for your first few months. You can pretty much click the link in the description and you can take advantage of this software for a sale price. But really, really amazing. And it's probably 99% of the times the only tool that I would use. I may counter check that with Drop Point every now and then, but in most cases, this is a lot more effective for me at least. But many different platforms for you to do your product research. And as I discussed, it has become a pretty lengthy video at this point. And I can continue to go on and give you different strategies. I don't want this to be a 2-hour video, but this should give you a general premise as to, what it is to look for in a product, how to eliminate the mistakes and not spend money unnecessarily on items that don't pass the requirements for you to be able to launch it, right? Different tools, free ones, which I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys will use them, that are going to help you just make your life for product research a lot easier. It can give you a lot of different ways to spy on your competitors. And really, what you should be doing, as you're finding products, pro tip is always, looking at the reviews of that product, right? Is it of good quality, right? And there's a few things that I do once I've identified a product. I confirm the quality, so I do a quality assessment. I don't want to be selling a bunch of products that aren't any good. It leads to a bunch of angry customers. With the incorporation of the feedback score, then it makes life a little bit more difficult if that page gets shut down and everything else associated with it. So do check the quality. You can also, even order one of the products, right? It's going to be hard if you're testing a bunch of products, but if you're just starting, if the product costs 150, make that investment, get the product, physically hold it, seeing the user experience, the unboxing, right? You can even create some custom content with that product, which I've done with several of my products. And it makes a huge difference because it's not the same recycled videos that everyone is using. It's a different perspective. And you don't need a high definition camera, so don't think that you do. Literally, a smartphone is more than enough to give you some quality pictures in a video of the product being utilized. And it goes a long way, to be successful in this business. You are going to have to make investments. You are going to have to put some effort. Everything isn't going to be copy paste, take everything else that someone is using and run with it, right? If you do want to stand out, there are going to have to be some differentiating factors that you bring to the table that are going to allow you to succeed. So be open-minded to that and give it a try, of course, and the final thing that I would do is, prior to launching the product, is confirming to see how many people are selling it in the Philippines. Using some of these softwares, putting in the keyword of the product and narrowing down by country is always very helpful. It gives you, pretty precise, not 100%, but it gives you a pretty precise idea as to how many people are selling that product, and looking at what your competitor is doing. Looking at their website, figuring out what's going to be the marketing angle that you take on this particular product. What are you going to do different? What are you going to do better than your competition? And is it even possible to undercut the competition, right? Remember, 500 is the minimum that you want per product. But if they're gaining, 900 per product, instead of you gaining 900, maybe bring it down to 700, right? Offer your product 200 pesos cheaper and you're undercutting the market, right? That's a good differentiating factor. Everybody likes to pay less. So use all of these tools, right, in conjunction with each other to help you find a product, validate a product, and get a general idea as to your competition and how you're going to do it better to stand out. So, I want to wrap it up here, and I do hope that this video has provided you good value as to how to navigate, the waters of e-commerce, because I can understand how it can be difficult for anybody starting or someone with some level of experience. We all face different challenges, right? So if you found value in this video, please do make sure to subscribe, like the video, and obviously stay tuned for all of the upcoming videos that we have prepared for you to give you as much, if not more value, as we continue to give you content. So hitting that notification bell is going to be key. Supporting our Facebook group, which I will link in the description, will also be very appreciated. And hopefully I see you in the next video. So take care, and I'll speak to you guys soon. Bye-bye.